Hi, I'm Dana Smiles with the Cape Cod Institute, and I'm here today with Dr. Ron Frederick, who is teaching his course, The Emotionally Mindful Therapist. So how did you first discover the Cape Cod Institute?
You know, that's a good question because in my mind it feels like the Cape Cod Institute has been around, or at least in my psyche, forever. I first started coming to the Cape in the early 90s, and at that time I was in graduate school, so I was already working on my degree in clinical psychology, and one of the guys who was with us was here to do a workshop. I think it was with Sifnios. It was not around much anymore, but that's when I first heard about it. And I mean, it's sort of legendary in a way, you know, it's like always been around. So when I got asked I was thinking about this coming up here, when I got asked, when I heard from Gil, it was 2010. I think I got a certified letter, or it came through FedEx, and I was like, who's this letter from? And I looked it up, the address, and I said, oh my God, it's the Cape Cod Institute sending me a certified letter. Are they going to ask me to come up here and speak? And I thought, oh my God, this is wild. This is where all the big people go. And that's what happened.
Wonderful. So what do you like most about this type of learning and teaching environment?
Well, I think what's wonderful about the way that the courses are arranged at the Cape is, you know, this experience of having class in the morning and then having the rest of the time to yourself. I think there's so many things that are beneficial about that. One of them, it's just nice. You come to the Cape and you can, as a professional, you can get your training, but it's not just all work. You can also vacation and you're in this beautiful setting, so that an aspect of it is also just about vacation. But I think one of the things that does is that it frees people up who are in the training, to have some more room to think about these things and not feel so pressured by their schedules. And in terms of the work that I do around emotional mindfulness and doing the work, it gives people reflective time. So it's not just the time in class, but then we go off and do our things. Inevitably, what you've been learning about in the morning, or whatever's been stirred in the morning in class, is playing around in your mind in some way, in a way that I think it makes it more manageable, in a way that's stimulating, and you come back to class the next day with thoughts, you know, that you can share, or experiences or reflections that you can share. And I think you also walk away from the training feeling, you know, more enlivened, rather than you go for a weekend and you train the whole time and you come out of there and you have to go to work the next day and you just feel exhausted.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the course that you're teaching this week?
Sure. So being an emotionally mindful therapist, if I just back up a little, for the first few years that I was here, I was teaching cultivating emotional mindfulness. And so we were really looking at, as therapists, how we help our clients grow their emotional competence. So how we help them be more aware of and in touch with their emotional experience, and be able to be with that, work with that, and move through it, and get all the benefits that our emotions can bring to us, and do the healing that's inherent in a therapy process. And that's something that I've been focusing on for a really long time. Actually, from the time I started my graduate training, I was really interested in what makes therapy transformational. And now we have all these different therapies that look at experience, and that really it's in having an experience that we change and that we heal. So for the longest time, I've been focused on how I help people do that. And with the growing awareness that it has everything to do with also my own facility as an emotional being. And we're all wired to feel, and we're all wired to empathize. And that is an amazing tool that we can use as psychotherapists. However, our focus so much is on how we help the clients. And people who come here want to learn, part of why they come here is they want to learn how to be better therapists, because the work is always challenging in some way. And so how can we meet the needs and be more helpful to our clients? So at the same time, it also necessitates our growing awareness of ourselves, but the work doesn't afford us that. Our practices don't afford us that. We go from one client to the next, or we may work in a setting where the focus is always on the clients, and we're supposed to take care of ourselves. That's a part of the process, but we're not really given the space, unless we take it ourselves, to be to have room to get in touch with what's happening for us. So I really wanted to create a workshop that gave the therapist that experience, that is both taking care of us and helping us be more attuned to our emotional experience, and ultimately we can be better therapists because of that.
That's great.
So that's what the workshop is about. It's really giving people an opportunity, and what I feel so strongly about is really creating an environment where it's safe to be curious and to just notice what's happening for ourselves, and to have the room to think about a particular client, or contemplate a particular therapeutic experience and notice what happens for us. And there's just so much amazing information that we get just by dropping inside of ourselves, that I see happen over and over and over again in the workshop.
Wow. Are there any special moments or highlights from this week thus far, either in or out of the classroom, that come to mind?
Well, one that comes to mind right away is somebody sharing this morning, or it was yesterday morning, that being in the environment and learning what she was learning, and allowing herself to be vulnerable and say, I encourage myself to go inside myself and be with my experience, because I normally don't do that. And I went inside and I could tell that a part of me wanted to just not go there. Yet I encouraged myself to stay with it, and I moved through my feelings, and I actually discovered something deeper about myself, and I felt so much better. And a similar experience of someone who was saying he was struggling with a problem, who he was wallowing, his words, wallowing, and then having the space and working with another participant to allow for that and lean into that, he actually, a more activating experience awoke for him, and that he felt more emboldened and ready to do what he needed to do. And that's like in a short period of time, right? It's like doing an experiential, or just having a moment and dropping in, and something changes in this way that opens people up, and they're feeling more enlivened. That to me is like that's like, I think, wow, this is why I'm doing this, and oh my God, it's actually happening.
That's fantastic. So who do you think would benefit most from attending the Institutes?
Well, I think any clinician would benefit from coming here. What the Institute tends to attract, which is one of the reasons why I love coming here, are people who are really interested in bettering themselves, and really interested in the work, and are open, and wanting to have the experience, not only just being able to learn, but to immerse themselves in something. So I think anyone can benefit from it, and I think that in particular the Cape Cod Institute attracts people who aspire to something like that.
So what about your work are you most excited right now?
my work here or my work in general? Well, I'm really excited that just a few weeks ago I finished the manuscript for my second book.
Congratulations.
And thanks. And one, I'm thrilled that I've gotten to this place in the trajectory of like getting it done. I mean, there's still more work to do. And that book is called Loving Like You Mean It. And it's helping people be mindfully aware of their relational attachment, emotional wiring, and how it shows up for them and how it may show up for them in ways that they're unaware of, so that in being more connected to it and mindful of it, we can better navigate our experience and bring our healthy, better selves to our relationships. And really, it's about the work that we're doing here at the Cape in my class, about being more mindful of ourselves and our emotional experience, and that has everything to do with our early learning and our attachment experience. And when we do that, we're better able to navigate our relationships, and the most exciting part of it is able to free our full selves, our core selves, from the constriction of our early experience, or from the constriction of our early wiring. So without going into it in great detail, we're all affected by our early experience, and it shapes who we are or misshapes who we are. And what we're trying to do, and what I'm trying to do in the writing, is help people be who they were meant to be by freeing themselves from the constraints of the past.
Well, I look forward to reading your next book. And
Great.
Thank you
I
so
look
much.
forward to you reading it too. It'll be done then.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.